What's up everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a bow review on my Blackout NV-32, and I'm super excited about that. But for just a second, I gotta tell you something. So I've tried to take this video like 20 times today, and it's just not working for me. It's too scripted. I'm trying to act like I'm on some kind of a hunting show or something. It's super embarrassing. So we're just gonna provide YouTube with the raw, uncut version of Will Calloway, and y'all enjoy, because it could get bad. Back to this. This is the Blackout NV-32. This bow is made by Blackout, which obviously, I told you it was going to be bad. It's made by Bass Pro Shops, and Blackout is Bass Pro's brand. So much like you would have like Great Value at Walmart, or the Kroger brand, or Clover Valley at what's that store called? Dollar General. Like those kind of brands. That's basically what Blackout is. What they have done with this bow is they outsourced it, and it was made by a different company, which we will get to in a minute. It was sold to Bass Pro in bulk, where they then slapped their Blackout label on it and put it on the shelf at Bass Pro. That is where Blackout is. It's really nothing more than a label printer. This bow is an elite bow. In its origin, it was made in an elite factory. It is an elite bow, top to bottom. All they've done is made a few design modifications for Bass Pro to make it Bass Pro's bow, and then they slapped Blackout on it and called it a day. So, a little bit of backstory about how I got one. A couple of years ago, I needed a new bow. I was bad due for an upgrade, and I had some money in my pocket, and I was prepared to go and drop like $2,000 just on a bow. You know, flagship bow from another company, your Matthews, your Hoyt, your Elite, you know, they can run you a pretty good price tag. So that is when I stumbled across this bow. It just happened to be getting launched at that same time, and I was working at Bass Pro at the time too, so I was right there with it. I was able to test shoot the bow and decided it was what I was going to get, which was probably a smart decision at the time because I was in college and I was broke, and I in fact did not have as much money as I thought I did. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to tell you a little bit about my hunting setup here. That way in future videos, you know what I'm shooting, what's on the bow, what to look for, and then we will dive into some kind of tech spec-y stuff on the bow itself. For my sight, I have a CBE Tactic 1-pin. It's adjustable roller knob with a locking mechanism on it here. Just basically your standard 1-pin sight. I like it because it's small. It doesn't have a giant pivoting arm or whatever. It's just a really good sight. It's got a small sight frame here. It's not ginormous. On this bow setup with my arrows, poundage, draw length, all that stuff, I'm able to get 100 yards on the sight tape. So I think that's pretty good, and that's usually pretty standard. A lot of people can get 100 yards out of it, but if you're shooting down around like 60 pounds or 55 pounds or whatever, or you have a shorter draw length, your bow's just not producing quite as much speed and power, and you're going to have trouble. Your gaps on your sight tape are going to be bigger, and you're going to have trouble reaching out to 100 yards on a sight tape. Enough about that. I've got a Q80 Ultra Rest on it. It's the LD model, nothing super expensive. It works great. That's the thing about Q80. You don't have to buy the best one they've got, because they all work fantastic, and it is simply the best rest design ever created. Personal preference, form your own opinion. I have a CBE quiver on here. I don't even know what this thing's called. Anyway, it's a CBE quiver, and I like it. It keeps the arrows tight to the bow, keeps them straight. That really bothers me when they angle out like that. It's a straight up and down 5-spot quiver, simple as they come. Moving down to my stabilizers, I have the CBE the Torx stabilizers. This front bar, I believe, is a 10-inch rod. This is either an 8 and a 6 or a 10 and an 8. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't have the box no more. But it was either a 10 and an 8 or a 6 and an 8. To be honest with you, it really doesn't matter that much to me. All I needed was a good medium size set of stabilizers to just get a little bit of weight out away from the bow and help to stabilize it and everything. Don't get too caught up in stabilizers, especially if you're not like a professional archer or trying to go win Vegas or something. It really doesn't matter that much. They're really here to get weight out away from the bow as far as possible and to help stabilize the bow throughout the shot process. There's a lot of misconceptions around stabilizers and what they do. There's a lot of great videos out there. I can't think of any more. There's several other videos on stabilizers. I know because I've watched them. But these are great stabilizers for the money you pay for them. What makes a good stabilizer is a lightweight rod and a heavyweight on the end. That's basically it. It's a relatively simple device, but some people make better ones than others. Ideally, you want as thin of a bar as you can get. Helps cut down on some wind drag stuff if you're shooting outside, which majority of the time you're going to be. Anyway, that's enough about stabilizers. CB Torx stabilizers do all I need them to do. This bow stand is a True Glow. Lots of people have one. They're cheap. Stands your bow up. Moving on. These are my hunting arrows. They are a Blackout MX3 hunter arrow. You probably can't read that, but I've got them fletched up with the B-Rail X veins. I'm a big fan of the Boning X cut on these veins. I really like it. And then the fact that it says B-Rail on it is just that much cooler. So I really like them. These Blackout arrows, by the way, I believe are made by Victory Archery. I can't prove that, but I'm 99% sure. They look just like them. They come with the same outsert system on them, and the labeling on the arrow is very similar to the Victories. You can just kind of tell. Never mind. That is what really points me towards Victory. That short knock like that, that's a Victory knock. Everybody knows them. That is the basic rundown of my equipment and what I'm going to hunt with. This exact setup right here killed me an 8-point this year. Did great. I'm going to be shooting a hog. Hopefully going to be shooting a hog sometime in the next few weeks. I'm going to try to get that on film and get it put on here. So that'll be fun. And that will all be done with this bow. This is my hunting setup. I don't intend on changing anything. That's it. I was going to cover real quick as far as releases go. For hunting, I really prefer a button style release. This is the Blackout. Again, I still haven't figured out who makes this thing, and I don't really have any guesses other than maybe Scott. It's a good release. I don't even know that it has a name. I think it's just called like Blackout 3-finger release is what it is. But I've had it for 2 years and it has never broken, never malfunctioned. I may eat my words and it may break here in a minute, but it's been great for me otherwise. I love it. For a little more target style shooting, and I had the idea of going and shooting like some 3D at one point, and I still might, but this is really just for my own satisfaction and shooting little bitty tiny groups, is the Ultra View hinge. So I got that about a year ago, and it has been a fantastic release. The people over at Ultra View, they have fantastic customer service, and their stuff is packaged very, very cool, and the functionality of it's fantastic. I love this release. Let's get into the bow. So I'm going to kind of burn through some specs on this bow real quick, and then we'll slow down and really talk about them a little bit. So the first thing is, this bow is going to IBO at 337 feet a second. Now, if you're super new, what IBO means is in best operation. So that's at a maximum draw length and at maximum weight on the limbs is going to give you your IBO speed in a perfect world. That's still probably not going to give it to you. The manufacturers do all kinds of tests with light arrows, middleweight arrows, everything they can do to optimize the bow. Then they shoot it, get that IBO rating, slap it on the box. So it IBOs at 337. I have chronographed it myself. I'm coming in right about 290, which is perfect for me. My arrow weight is like 486 or something like that. I don't know. And that's what I'm shooting is about 290-ish, which is perfect for me. If you can stay right there around that 300 foot a second mark, you're doing good. That's fantastic. Next up will be, it is a 32-inch axle-to-axle bow. That means from this point here down to that point there, 32 inches. Now, I said I was going to burn through these, and now I'm explaining them. See, this is why, because 32-inch axle-to-axle. You got 6 1/4, I believe, on the brace height. That is from the inside of this string right here to the inside of the handle right there. And that is pretty much directly related to speed. Next up is the limbs. The limbs come in 60 and 70 pound limbs. That means that the upper range of those limbs is 60 and 70 pounds. This is the 70 pound version, obviously. And that means that it tops out at 70. Really, it tops out at like 73, which is what it's set at right now. But then it's adjustable down a few turns out to like around 60 pounds. It'll get you down around there. The bow itself weighs 4 pounds. It is not that bad. Relatively light bow. Not enough to bother me. Once all my stuff is on it, it's got some weight to it, but I like that in a bow. I don't mind lugging it around. I would rather be steady and still and rock solid when I'm taking a shot. I guess that's about all the specs on the bow. If I missed anything, let me know. I think that's it. Oh, it comes with these things. These are little Pine Ridge archery dampeners that go in the limbs, twist lock, and kind of help cut down on a little bit of vibration. I got to admit, this bow, when you first shoot it without anything on it, you get a little bit of vibration in your hands. Once you put stabilizers on it and tighten them down, make sure you tighten all your screws on all your stuff from top to bottom, because that's going to help. As long as everything's tight, that is actually going to reduce vibration on your bow. The best way to cut down on vibration in your bow is going to be these few things. Make sure all your screws are tight, get you some good stabilizers, and these little limb dampening thingies right here. Those are going to be the best things to help minimize vibration in your bow. Another small step you can take is I've taken 2 limb saver dampeners and put them right here on the outside of the bow. That's just to add on. Now that we know a little bit about that, I will give you my personal opinion on the bow. I love it. I've shot it all the way out to, I think, like 120 yards. And that's with me like Kentucky windaging up over my pin, because the sight tape only runs out to 100. So, and I'm able to shoot groups with it all the way out to that distance. Not that that's even practical, but it's really, really fun to send bombs at 100 yards. So that's great. Another thing I've noticed about it is it tunes just a hair out of center. So when you actually knock an arrow in the bow, this is going to blow your mind. And if you know much about bows, oh my goodness, this is about to really, really mess with your brain. So I hope you can see it. It is tuned for this bow. I guarantee you, I'd go outside and shoot it through paper right now, and it'd shoot a bullet hole. And it's super weird. I know that just happens to bows sometimes, that they just tune just a hair out of center, but that's really what this one does. It tunes to the right like that. One thing that may explain that is other flagship bows have like a spacer system that goes in the cams, on the axles between the cams and the limbs. This one doesn't. It's got some washers in there, but there are no standard sizes to shift back and forth with. That's what you get. So you just kind of have to tune it out with the rest. You can't, like on the Matthews, they have something called a top hat system. And the top hat system is like these little spacer things that come in different sizes. You can put it in a bow press, take everything apart, switch out your top hats, shift your cams one way or another, put it all back together, and it will eliminate a lot of how much you have to move your Q80 back, or your rest back and forth, in order to produce that tune. And on this bow, it doesn't really have anything like that, so you kind of got to tune it out with the rest. But it doesn't really bother me. It looks a little stupid, but it shoots perfect, I promise. It's really about it. Oh, it comes with Winner's Choice strings on it, which is like really good for a big box store bow. And that's because it's an Elite. Elite does run Winner's Choice strings on their bows. It comes with some dampeners on the string. The string itself has been really good for me. I've had it for 2 years. I've shot the heck out of it. It's probably about time to put a new string on it, but really I can't complain about the shape that it's in right now. And I have shot the heck out of this thing for 2 years. I've never had any peep rotation really at all. I reserve the center serving because I prefer it just a hair smaller so my arrows don't really lock on there hard. Other than that, all their servings that it came with and everything, they all still look good. Especially for as fast and powerful as a bow as this is, I really can't complain about the strings. They're fantastic. So without further ado, let's take it outside. I will shoot a couple of rounds for you, let you see, how the bow works, listen to it, and just kind of pay attention to the vibration and everything. Let's do it. Let's go shoot. All right, so it's getting dark on me, so we're gonna have to move this on along, but we'll get a couple of groups in here real quick and let you get a little idea for it. So I'm gonna run the Ultra View hinge here. I've got the target at 30 yards. Here we go. That'll do it. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope that this video will help somebody choose a bow. And if you're thinking about the NV-32, I highly recommend it. It's a good bow. If this video helped you out, or if you liked it, make sure and like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to try to keep posting pretty regular here. So subscribe so you know when I post, so you can come and watch. And if you have any kind of video content or anything that you want to see, questions you want answered, or problems you want addressed, leave them in the comments and I would be very happy to help you out on that. So y'all have a blessed day. Thanks for watching.